Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to be talking about feminism in Hollywood, or how pretty much feminism has infiltrated Hollywood over the last 40 years. It really began in the early 80s in the romantic comedies, and then started to slowly become more and more and more, not just in movies, but also television, commercials, things like that, and the music as well. And what got me thinking about this was that a couple weeks ago, I saw the very end of Terminator Dark Fate. And that's the movie that came out about a year ago, I'd say, maybe a year and a half. And it was a complete flop at the box office, total bomb. And I remember seeing previews for this, and I'm thinking, there is no way I'm going to waste my money seeing this, you know? And and unfortunately, yeah, I mean, it was a total bomb. And I don't know why Schwarzenegger did this. Maybe he did it because maybe he didn't know exactly how it was going to go, or he just wanted to be in another movie because everybody enjoys seeing Arnold. But total bomb. And basically, that movie, I saw that. I was thinking about that this morning. It popped in my head. And I want to do a movie about this because in recent years, especially the last 5 years, you're seeing a lot of these movies with these all-female casts where they portray all these women as the heroes or heroines, whatever you want to call it, and they portray men as being weak, and they're total bombs. And so just recently, in the last couple weeks, that Harley Quinn Birds of Prey came out, and that was a total bomb at the box office. Complete flop. And then last year they had Charlie's Angels. That was a total bomb. They blamed it on franchising not working. With Terminator Dark Fate, they blamed it on lack of budget. There's always something to blame about this. But the bottom line is, guys, is that what they're trying to push on us isn't working. It's backfired because nobody's buying into this bullshit. Nobody wants to see this, you know. Now, a few years ago, they had Wonder Woman come out. That was about 2017. And that did extremely well. But the difference was in that movie, it was her and she was a superhero, but she was also with other guys, and it was a cool story. And the guy she was with, he didn't act like a pussy. It was the guy who plays Captain Kirk, and he was cool. And so it wasn't a turnoff. It didn't bother us to see that. You know, it didn't seem ridiculous. And so guys saw it, and it was cool, you know. And I remember 5 years ago, one of the worst examples of this, where instead of showing, they'll show a woman that's strong and a leader and you know, all these masculine characteristics, but then a lot of times they portray men in the opposite as being feminine and weak and stupid and unsure of ourselves. And that's what you've been seeing going on for the last 40 years, but more and more in the last 10 years. In this movie with The Rock that came out 5 years ago, I think it was called San Andreas. Basically, this huge earthquake hits the San Andreas fault line, and all hell's breaking loose throughout the state of California. And The Rock plays this guy in the emergency response. And so you have a story going on with him, but you also have a story going on with his daughter. And his daughter, I guess, is like college age. And when all hell breaks loose in San Francisco, she meets this guy who is this young British guy there in the city for an interview with his younger brother. And this guy, they portray him as really weak and scared and timid and unsure. And so they get together, and she kind of leads him through the city to safety, him and his younger brother. And she's all strong and tough and fearless. And you see this guy, and he's always freaking out whenever there's a quake or a telephone pole falls down, and just acting like a total pussy. I mean, and it's ridiculous. It's laughable. I mean, it's sad to see for us, but it's laughable. And if you haven't seen it, go watch this, or if it's on TV, see what I'm talking about. And so you have the woman portrayed as strong and fearless and masculine, and the guy comes off as a total pussy. And you know, that's what they're trying to put on us. And so you have the feminist movement infiltrated Hollywood like 40 years ago. And don't get me wrong, the feminist movement did start for good reasons. I mean, I'm for women having equal rights, being treated equally, pay and things like that, and not being fearful in the workplace of being abused. And I'm all for that. But when things shifted where it became more about emasculating men and making us out to be little bitches, that's where I got a big problem with. And there's obviously plenty of other people that have a problem with this as well. And you can see it in the movies and TV. You can see it in commercials, even in the songs and the media. And that's what they're trying to put on us. And guys have had enough of this bullshit. That's why you're here watching this channel. And that's why other channels like this are popping up, because we're talking about this. Because, I mean, I started noticing this about 5 or 6 years ago, and I'm thinking, I can't be the only one that's noticing this pattern here, you know? And I talk to other people about it, and they don't realize it, you know? And that's just not how our nature designed us to be. That's not how we want to see things going. But the good news is things are starting to change because people are talking about it. Awareness is getting out there. But this has been going on for 40 years in Hollywood. And I remember, like, early on, you'd see, like, the romantic comedies with, like, John Cusack in, what's that movie called? Say Anything, when he and the girl break up. And it's the famous scene where he's outside her window at night with the boombox holding it up, playing In Your Eyes from Peter Gabriel. Now, what would happen in real life if one of us did that kind of bullshit? Number one, her dad would call the cops, and she would probably get a restraining order against us. And so that's when the things started to change, when they portrayed guys as constantly chasing after women, being emotional, talking about their feelings, being unsure, while then you see the women as strong and aloof, not really giving a shit, sure of themselves, all that. And it's completely changing things around. And then in the last 10 years, especially the last 5, now it's making men out to be total pussies and bitches. And I think that's what's done it, because these movies have come out recently, they're complete bombs. And so as much as they want to push that agenda in Hollywood, at the end of the day, if these movies aren't making money, they're just simply not going to make anymore. End of story, no matter how much of a influence a lot of these feminists in Hollywood have. I mean, I'll give you an example, the recent Star Wars trilogy, where you have the female character as the star, Rey. In the first one that came out, it was The Force Awakens, and you see her, and I was like, okay, fine, let's just see how this goes. And there's a part in the movie when she meets the guy Finn, who was a ex-stormtrooper, and they start being attacked, and he's trying to help her, and she's getting all mad, and don't grab me, and he's trying to help her up, and basically acting like, you know, an angry feminazi, and he's just trying to help her out. But that's what you're seeing, and they make him be kind of weak and her all strong and tough. That's it. And then the whole trilogy was based on the woman being the hero, and at the end of the last movie, where she's the one that kills the Emperor, even though we thought Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, destroyed the Emperor and was supposed to be the chosen one. Now we're supposed to believe the woman is the chosen one, right? And because also the one in charge of Lucasfilms is a woman named Kathleen Kennedy, and she is a known feminist and social justice warrior. So this isn't an accident. Or that movie Rogue One, where again the star was a woman. Now that movie, in my opinion, was actually pretty cool, because you had other characters that were cool. They didn't make the men out to be bitches. But you see what I'm talking about. More and more female roles as the leader and stuff like that, and running the show. In the Disney Plus series, The Mandalorian, which, if you haven't seen it already, is pretty badass. It stays true to the series, what we all grew up with. I'm 42, so I grew up with Star Wars. That was really cool, and I was just waiting for a twist to see when they took his mask off to find out that he was a woman. I was just waiting for it to happen, but there's a scene like in one of the last episodes, you see who he is, and it is actually a dude. So everything's okay there. But what I'm talking about, guys, is that this is what's been going on in the movies, and they've been trying to push that on us forever. And the great thing is, it's really starting to backfire now. It's backfiring because these movies aren't selling. They're not making the money anymore before these extreme shifts. And so with us talking about this and making channels about this and making awareness, it's going to help. Now, here's the thing. Even if you think I'm totally full of shit, if you just stumbled on this video and think this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, just watch some movies, see what I'm talking about. You'll start to pick up on these patterns, and then come back here and let me know, you know? And so that's it for today. I just wanted to comment on that. I wanted to see what you guys thought about that, because this is happening more and more and more with these movies, and they're a complete bomb. Oh, and remember Ghostbusters? They did a Ghostbusters movie a few years ago with an all-female cast, and that was a fucking bomb. So more and more of this. So yeah, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below what you think about this, things that you've noticed, you know, that I haven't thought about. Mention it, and like the video and subscribe. Have a good weekend. It's Sunday, and I will talk to you next time.